Okay, chapter 4, in which it was just a dream. So, okay, I'm gonna read this. You ask too many questions. No one knows what the witch does with the children she takes. No one asks this. We can't ask it. Don't you see? It hurts too much. Fine, she eats them. Are you happy? No, that's not what I think. My mother told me she ate their souls, and then their soulless bodies have wandered the earth ever since. Unable to live, unable to die, blank-eyed and blank-faced and aimless walking. I don't think that's true. We should have seen them, don't you think? We would have at least have seen one wander by after all these years. My grandmother told me she keeps them as slaves, that they sleep in the catacombs near her great castle in the forest, and operate her fell machines, and stir her great cauldrons, and do her bidding from morning till night. But I don't think that's true either. Surely if it was, at least one of them would have escaped. In all these years, surely one person would have found a way out and come home. So no, I don't think they are enslaved. Really, I don't think anything at all. There is nothing at all to think. Sometimes I have this dream about your brother. He will be 18 now. No, 19. I have this dream that his dark hair and luminous skin and stars in his eye. That he has dark hair and luminous skin and stars in his eyes. I dream that when he smiles, it shines for miles around. Last night I dreamed that he waited next to a tree for a girl to walk by, and he called her name and held her hand, and his heart pounded when he kissed her. What? No, I'm not crying. Why would I cry, silly thing? Anyway, it was just a dream. Do you think that this was really a dream, or do you think that this actually happened? Maybe in one of those free cities it happened. Who knows? And also, if you have been a person in the protectorate or the it's called the protectorate, or it's called like the Cattail Kingdom, I think. I don't know. There's like 2 other names for it. I forgot which ones they are. Well, anyway, point is, I've been like, I think it was like the Sorrowful City or the City of Sorrows, something. I don't know. But anyway, if you had been somebody living in the protectorate, what would you have thought that the witch was doing? I would have thought that the slaves thing actually works, because the witch is a witch. She could just be like, snap, barbed wire fence, snap, moat, snap, like chains, or snap, like a security system, or like snap, like she could just brainwash them. I mean, like, magic can do practically anything. I mean, seriously. Okay, chapter 5, in which a swamp monster accidentally falls in love. And I have a question. Do you think that we're ever gonna know who this person is speaking and who the child is? Do you think that we're ever gonna know? Probably not. I don't think so. I mean, we know that it's not one of the elders because, I mean, like, they actually know the truth about the witch. So it has to be a commoner, right? Somebody who's lost a child. Besides, the elders are never gonna let themselves lose a child, right? So I have no idea, but still, it's one of the common people. We know that. It might be any common person for all we know. Chapter 5, in which a swamp monster accidentally falls in love. Do you think, if you had been Glurt, would you have approved? Yeah, I mean, like, you would have been okay, though. Kids are sort of annoying. I mean, like, for example, I know if I just look at myself, or I mean just like, you have to do stuff to kids. For one, you have to feed them. 2, you have to hold them. 3, you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna have to sing you a song to make you sleep, or you have to make them go to sleep. If they cry, you need to comfort them. Also, you need to be like, I need to make this blanket, or I need to buy a crib. And then you have to buy like 100 toys, and then after that, you're like, oh man, the kid wants to have a Tesla. And then you have to buy, well, I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna buy a Tesla, but then the kid's gonna whine, and it's gonna be annoying, right? And then after that, you have to clean her up. You have to I mean, like when a kid's a baby, you have to like, you have to scrub her. You have to bathe her. You have to brush her teeth because she's not gonna brush her own teeth, right? So it's just really, really, really hard. So I get why Glurk would not approve. And besides, they're loud. That's the number 1 rule about babies. This is number 1 thing that you need to know before you have a baby. They're loud. And then Firion, the little tiny dragon, was like, babies, 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 right? And it was like, babies, 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 babies. Oh, how I love babies. This is an actual quote from the book, actually, yeah. Do you think that Firion, like, compared to the other dragons that you know, how is he? I really like him. He's really nice. The nicest dragon I've ever seen in my life. And now, I have a question. What do you think is the number 1 most terrible thing about babies? Or, yeah, well, Luna now. And do you think that, there's a small family now. A swamp monster, there's a tiny dragon, there's a witch, and there's a magic girl, or Luna, right? I mean, like, it's a crazy family. And now, I have a question. You see that Zan actually did a lot of stuff, right? What do you think is the hardest thing that she's done in this sentence, okay? Well, it's not a sentence, but still, actually, it is a sentence. Whoa. There's a really long sentence, okay? And from that sentence, what do you think is the hardest thing that Zan did? Okay, by the end of the 2nd week, their entire habitation had been transformed. Diapers and baby clothes and bonnets hung on newly strung clotheslines to dry. Freshly blown glass bottles dried on the recently constructed racks next to a brand new washing station. A new goat had been procured. Glurk had no idea how. And Zan has separate milk jugs for drinking and cheese making and butter churning. And quite suddenly, the floor became thoroughly strewn with toys. I'll keep on going. Well, actually, that's what Zan did. What do you think is the hardest thing? Well, I can make a clothesline. I would not like to wash clothes, but I can do that. I can make a rack, sort of. I can get a goat. I'll just need to go to like, they don't sell any goats in San Diego, so I'm gonna have to go into the country or something, but I can't do it, but I don't have a driving license. I don't have a driver's license, and then my mom and dad are gonna be like, no. But if I was a witch and I was as old as her, like 500 years or something, then I could easily do that. And then there would be like separate milk jugs for drinking and cheese making and butter churning. Well, she gets all those jugs and jars, and they're all labeled like sugar, and another one's labeled like, I don't know, salt. And that's all easy, but I would not like to go butter churning because first of all, I have no idea how, and it sounds hard, and then cheese making sounds almost impossible to me. But I think that the hardest thing is probably the freshly blown glass bottles. Actually, maybe not. You just need to be like, make it something hot and be like, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. Or everybody in the world will be glass blowers now, right? And like even mom or dad would be like, and then all those blown glass jugs and stuff wouldn't be that popular and expensive. So no. So I think that either the glass bottles or the butter churning or the cheese making. So maybe I can just go and learn a recipe about it, but still, I think it sounds hard. Now, did you think that Luna, what do you think about Luna? Like, if you just think of a baby you know, if you've never met a baby before like me, well, I probably met a baby before, but I've never like touched him. I've never done anything with a baby. Okay, now, who do you think that the poet is that Clerk always says? Well, I think that the poet is sort of like, you know, like the poet. Like, he's nobody. I don't think that he's anybody. He's just like the poet. Some kind of spirit guy. I don't know. Maybe he's just like the guy who made up all the poems in the world and then he just left. Well, yeah, like a spirit, right? Maybe he is a spirit. I don't know. Because, like, if Glurk was the poet, then he would be like, I, or me, not the poet. Now, do you really think that Luna is like, oh, right, I totally forgot to answer my question about babies. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my, I forgot the question about babies. Well, I'll just finish this chapter before I answer that. Now, do you think that, Firion, like, would you like to be near a dragon that sneezes fire and it's not even his fault? Well, I would like it, but I would like to have like a heat protective suit, but a suit would catch on fire. Or maybe Firion should have like a sneeze guard or something, his own sneeze guard, but then the sneeze guard would melt. Unless Zan, you know, made like a fireproof sneeze guard, which would be awesome. And okay, did you think that Firion was was like, you know, do you think that he's a little disillusioned because he still thinks of himself like maybe like a big, simply enormous dragon? Like, look at this. When the time is right, my son, his massive mother, Firion's massive mother, okay, had told him in the moments before she plunged herself into the erupting volcano, leaving this world forever, you will know your purpose. You are and will be a giant upon this fair earth. Never forget it. Her meaning, Firion felt, was clear. He was simply enormous. There was no doubt about it. Firion reminded himself of it every single day. Do you think he's ever going to be simply enormous? I don't know, but I really do not know about that. But we're going to have to keep on reading to see. Though I did read this book like 2 years ago, and even though I really don't remember anything, I think that I'm not gonna say anything. Okay. Actually, even the book mentions noise, so I'm right. Look at this. Raising a baby, magical or not, is not without its challenges, right? The inconsolable crying, I was right. The near constant runny noses. Oh, I missed that, but yeah, that's annoying. Like, you have to be like, when somebody's sick, I mean, you care for them, so you take care of them. But when a baby's sick, you have to take care of them because they're really nice. And, well, if you love them, yeah, you would take care of them. But taking care of them is really hard. Why? Because you have to be like, and then they cry so much. When I'm sick, like when I was a baby, I would like, and I would cry. But like now, when I'm like, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, dang it, why do I have to be sick now? But I wouldn't be like, wah. Again, here. Okay, the inconsolable crying, the near constant runny noses, the obsession with putting very small objects into a drooling mouth. Oh yeah, I ate some Play-Doh. And then after that is this. And the noise. They emphasize the noise part, and they're like, can you please magic her quiet? Firion had begged once the novelty of the baby in the family had worn off. Zan refused, of course. Do you think that they should magic her quiet? No, but they should create her own room, and the room has a sound barrier. So only in her area you can hear her. Like outside of that room, you can be like, ah, and you can do whatever you want without getting disturbed by this. But then again, if she was like in actual trouble and she was like, oh, well, not that's ever gonna happen, but maybe she does have that, then you're never gonna know. That's another problem. Okay, now, what do you think about the poet? Because the poet, the Glurk actually says some poetry. Think about it. And do you think the poet is a good poet, or do you think it's a bad poet? Okay, from a grain of sand births light, births space, births infinite time, and to a grain of sand do all things return. Not bad. Though I liked the poem about Robert Frost about those two roads diverged in the yellow wood. I think it went like this. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood. And I totally forgot. You should read actually why he did it. The reason is actually much more like important than the poetry stuff. I mean, well, it is important, but like the meaning, the reason is much more important. Now, do you think that Glurk is actually beginning to love the baby? He's like, Glurk, the baby said, though it was probably a hiccup or something, or a burp, Glurk, right? And then, but look, Glurk didn't care. She said his name. She said it. His heart nearly burst in his chest. Zan, for her part, did her best not to say, I told you so. She mostly succeeded. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. Glurk, he couldn't help himself. He just couldn't help it. He had to love the baby. Now, if you lived near Luna, would you have loved her? Probably. Though it would be a little annoying once the novelty of the whole baby went off. And do you think that magic in her skin, when do you think it's gonna come out? Well, that was chapter 5. Chapter 6. But before that, I have to answer that question about babies. Okay, I think that compared to Luna is the best baby I've ever seen, even though I've never seen a baby before. I mean, all the other babies, I think that she's the best role model baby because she actually, well, maybe not. I might be just getting disillusioned. I might just be, getting hypnotized, or well, not hypnotized. Nobody's there to hypnotize me, but still, it's maybe I'm just getting a little disillusioned. Illusion, and maybe it's all just an illusion. Maybe there's some baby angels that float down to the earth and so maybe there's no baby angels. I'm not saying that there's any evil babies, but still, I'm not saying that babies are angels either. Chapter 6, let's go.